Show is hosted by Tony Gapperstone. Thanks for tuning in. It's showtime.
Hello. It's showtime for our last episode of 2025. Hello, my name is Tony Gapperstone. I am the founder and executive director of BraveMaker. I am a Caucasian guy, pronouns he, him, his, wearing black shirt, black glasses, brown hair, graying, and a gray cardigan today in my BraveMaker studio. This feels like deja vu because we're doing 2 podcasts in a row today. So I am trying to go, hey, this is a whole new show, episode 275 here. I'm in the BraveMaker studio with big pink letters that say BraveMaker behind me. Got some Christmas music here with my black and white striped wall and faux green behind. I'm really glad to be able to do these conversations every single week for 275 episodes and get to join for the second time today my friend, collaborator, producer, actor, Priscilla Lamb. Hi, Priscilla.
Hey, guys. I'm so excited to be here for the second time today. If you didn't listen to our first episode, please be sure to. I am Black and Asian. I have a fresh face. I have a slick back braided ponytail, a black turtleneck, and then behind me is a picture that has white, green, and black waves on it with a white wall. And thank you guys for listening in.
All right, Priscilla, last show of the year. Thanks so much for bringing in your friend and collaborator here. Tell us what we can expect here in episode 275.
Yes, you guys, I'm so excited. We have a gentleman named Chris Cobbs. He's from the Bay Area, Vallejo specifically. We both in Vallejo. I met him years back while he was interning for 106 Cameo with my best friend Claudia. And then I fell in love with Chris and his talents of leadership and producing, directing when he did his Christmas stage plays in the Bay Area, which were sold out. He has singers singing down the house. But I believe he wrote the scripts as well. And I don't know if some of the songs were original, but we'll ask him today. But he also is in the film industry. He created his first web series, got Keke Palmer to executive produce it. You can find it on Key TV. So he's doing big things. But before I even knew he had the Keke Palmer deal, because he didn't let me in on that secret. I already been telling him that he is phenomenal, that I can see him being as big as Tyler Perry. Just his gift is incredible already.
Okay.
So excited to share with you guys, Chris Cobbs.
Chris Cobbs, what's up?
Hello, how are you guys doing? Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Clarify, are you from Vallejo?
No, I'm actually from Richmond, so I was going to tell you that. I'm from Richmond, California, but I live in American Canyon now, so very much so. I'm around Vallejo now because that's where I reside.
Okay.
I feel like I should do what you guys did. I am Chris Cobbs. I have on I'm black. I have on a gray beanie and a gray hoodie, and I have a bookcase behind me with books that I don't read. So
we love the honesty.
All right.
Okay, so you're a creative. You're in film now. Growing up, because we met each other in college time.
Mm-hmm.
And so what made you intern for a radio station, and how did you pivot to doing stage plays and then to writing a web series?
Well, as far as the interning at iHeartMedia SF, I was trying to look for a way in just to entertainment, and being in the Bay Area, there aren't that many avenues at that time, at least in my opinion. And so I was going to San Francisco State University, and there was a billboard in one of the classrooms that said, intern at 106 Cameo. And so I thought to myself, radio could be a good outlet to, get my foot in the door. I used to watch a lot of Breakfast Club at that time. And so I was like, okay, this is an opportunity for me to be around people in the industry. I believe San Francisco at that time was the number 4 market. I think SF is the number 4 market in radio. And so I was like, okay, next best thing. I could totally get in the industry in that way. And so I began interning there. And that's kind of how that started for sure. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. You walked from there to doing stage plays. Did you write the stage plays? There was a lot of bomb music. Were there original music?
Yeah, so I believe in 2012, I began doing stage plays right after college. It was always like something that was in me. I wanted to do. Tyler Perry definitely was one of my biggest inspirations at that time. I'm very big on my faith, and so I struggled with how could I incorporate my faith with my talent. And he was one of the first people that I saw where it was like, oh wow, this is like literally like this is artistic, but it's also like faith-based. It's perfect. So I started off with doing Christmas plays because I felt like the holidays was like some of the best time of the year for people to come together, enjoy music. And so at that time, it was just basically like the nativity when I first did my very first show was nativity based. And so a lot of the songs were not original at that time. They were just like popular Christmas songs that I did. But the last one that I did in COVID 2020, when we were virtual, that was, we wrote original songs. Actually, the person that's on the screen right now, Jane Hancock, Mariah Summers, wrote majority of the songs for that play. And so those were originals along with my original script. But as far as all the other ones, my original script, I had a script for all of them that I wrote, basically.
You did them. You did that. Okay. With you having a gift with music, what pivoted you to doing film instead of getting into the music industry? Because you could be.
That is true.
So talk to us about that.
So I did grow up singing in church. I used to want to be a singer. I will say that I did used to want to be a singer. I went to Oakland School for the Arts, and my emphasis or like my training was in vocal music. So I that was like the natural thing. I wanted to be a singer. I think that it just wasn't for me. I mean, I like to pursue long term. I feel like I use singing as kind of like something that's in my tool belt that I help, with my other ideas. And so I use it like for my plays, and like I have a very musical ear. I use it in church. So I wasn't trying to be a singer full time. I don't know. I've always growing up, I wanted to be on Disney Channel. So like I always just had a big personality. I was always into television and film. And so I feel like when you don't live in LA, I feel like things are changing now. And I feel like, Priscilla, because you're in the industry here as well. But like growing up, when you don't live in LA, you kind of feel like, well, how can I actually do that, without a major movie studio or without having a fancy camera or knowing all these people. So I just kind of gravitated towards the stage. And then, Tyler Perry kind of showed the way of like, okay, he can adapt something from the stage to the television. And so it kind of just, I don't know, he gave me the blueprint. I feel like somebody just recently told me that like he literally gave you the blueprint to do what you want to do. So yeah, he kind of I just kind of followed in his path in a sense.
I want to say you started out by saying to Priscilla's question about radio by saying, okay, what can I do to get to where I want to be? Right. And some people feel like I want to be at this certain place, and they go, I'll just wait till I get to that certain place or that opportunity comes, and they're waiting and they're waiting and they're waiting. What I heard you say is you found these kind of alternate stepping stones. Like if it's a ladder or whatever, a bridge, it's like you find whatever way to swing, jump, crawl, build. And that to me is really like the innovative, inspiring things that we as creatives have to do. Otherwise we're waiting around. And it seems like you built all this stuff, which is really, really inspiring. Talk about this web series and Kiki Palmer, and you've created characters and stories that people are consuming. And then I want to talk about the other side of it, like the business side and the financial end, how you make things meet as a creative. But let's first talk about the series that you got going on.
Yeah, so Big Girl Blues, it is a Key TV original. We filmed it back in, I want to say 2022. Yeah, 2022. And it's funny because it's like it's all about like I'm very big on God's timing and like how things just kind of work together. I actually wrote that script back in, I want to say like 2019, and it was an idea that I had. I was talking to Mariah at the time, and she's like, well, I'll go back. Insecure, I watched it and I was like, this is really, really cool. And at that time, I really wasn't doing anything comedy based that was like kind of edgy. And so I was like, I want to create a dramedy. So I was like, how could I create something like this? Who do I know in my life who is funny, a little bit X-rated in a sense, and is super talented? And so I was like, Mariah. it's a no-brainer. Mariah. Like, if you know Mariah, you know, and most people know her as Jane Hancock, but if you know Mariah, you know she's literally funny. She is super talented, and like she has stories for days. And so at the time, she was telling me all these stories about her dating life. And I was like, you know what? Like, these are really ridiculous stories, but they're also like extremely funny. So one day I went home and I just wrote a script. I was like, okay, let me just write this out. I sent it over to her and she was like, wow, this is like really good. Like, this is really funny. Like, this is really good. And so we were at the time going to try to just do it ourselves. Like, we were going to try to just get the funding to do it ourselves. We had no idea. At that time, she wasn't, you know, making music. She's always been making music, but she wasn't like signed to Snoop. She didn't have a lot of the resources that she has now. So, and I also wasn't working where I'm working now, so I didn't have a lot of money. So it was like, we're just gonna try to figure it out. We didn't figure it out, so it kind of just sat. It sat and it sat and sat. And so one day, fast forwarding to maybe like a couple years later, she told me like, Kiki is getting ready to start her own network. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And she's like, well, she's looking for people to basically, young creatives to basically pitch her work and stuff like that. And so I'm like, okay, cool. She's like, do you have that script that you wrote a couple years back? I'm like, yeah, I still have it. She was like, can you send it to me? I sent it over to her. And to be honest, I didn't really hear anything else from that point. Like, we kind of just sent it to her. And we didn't really hear anything else. And so we were like, okay, cool. She said she liked it. We did hear that. She said she thought it was funny. But that was pretty much it. Kind of just sat. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, we'll kind of just let it sit. I was very big on like, I didn't want to like do anything yet with it because I just felt like when you have a vision for something, you kind of just, I didn't want to like settle because I just feel like this felt good and I felt like it could really be something big or, you know, I don't know if that makes sense. So I didn't want to kind of just do it. You know what I mean? So I was like, you know what? If it's meant to happen, it'll be done right. Mm-hmm. So fast forwarding to maybe 2022. I'm not good with dates, but 2022. After the pandemic, she circles back and she's like, "Can you send me the script?" And I'm like, "I already sent it to her, but I'll send it to you again."
Wait, I'm gonna pop in with a question.
Yeah.
Because you know, us creatives, we give for a follow-up email. During this time, did you send any follow-up? You're just like, hey,
I didn't. It was more so conversation based. So I would talk to Mariah and then Mariah would talk to her.
Okay.
So it was very much so like, but it got to the point where it was like, well, like, okay. You know, and then she's busy at the time. I think she was doing Nope. It was just a lot of stuff going on. So like, she was really busy.
Okay.
So it's like,
yeah, you know, no big deal. Just doing Nope.
Right. Like literally, like she was just doing a lot of stuff. So it was like, okay, cool. So it came back around and it was crazy because this is like right after I know you know, Priscilla, I had gotten sick. It was like right after I gotten sick and stuff. So I was like, okay, interesting. So it came right back around and she's like, can you send it again? Sent it. And then things started to move. And so I'm like, okay, she sent it, she liked it, and now she wants to hop on a call. Whoa. So I'm like, okay, let's hop on a call. Okay. So we ended up, it was myself, Mariah, Kiki, and then her partner, Lenora. We all hopped on a call. And then she began to kind of say, okay, this is really good. I think that it should be, because at that time it was just a pilot. So it was just one episode. So she was like, I think that this will be really good in short form. I think that you should kind of take this pilot, cut it up, add more to it, and make it a 6-episode miniseries.
Okay.
And so then I'm like, okay. And so she's like, so there's your homework. Get to it. So I was like, okay. I began to like take the pilot, break it up, add things to it, take things out of it, and just kind of make it a series. And so then I had to come up with like, she was like, okay, this needs it needs some type of finale. Like it kind of just ended. Like it doesn't seem like this is a complete series. So we added some more stuff to it, nice. Added more characters to it, and it kind of just developed from there with the help of her. So Kiki developed it to the point to where you guys got to see it. And so, yeah, so that's kind of how it came about.
Okay, with that, in the development stage, what is one advice you would give that you learned working with a pro in the development stage, as far as whether it's developing characters or giving a cliffhanger? What is one advice you would give to other creatives in the development stage?
I think definitely a little bit of give and take. I think that as a writer, I had a lot of ideas that I was like very like, okay, I'm like, I really want this to be in here, but then also listening to the criticism of whoever is like obviously paying for it, right? So you have to. So in my case, I wasn't working with a big studio, but in a sense, like Kiki is the studio. So it's like if she tells you like, this is dope, but I need it to be like this. It's like, okay, taking that advice in, but then also still staying true to what you staying true to your story, basically.
Right.
So that would be my advice. Definitely give and take, compromising, but then also like understanding like this is where the money is, this is who's funding it, understanding your place as it pertains to that, but then also understanding you're the writer, and at the end of the day, your name is going on. This is your work, these are your words. So take pride in that, and still push the envelope to the point to like, if this is what you want, put it in there.
Okay.
So yeah.
Chris, that's so good. And I know Kiki has been doing this with lots of creators. We have a friend who's on one of her current shows, right? Tristan is on one of. It's really cool to see, again, another example of someone who's braved their own way and made their own friggin' network and is producing all these things. And so can you talk a little bit about just the planning for you and the sustainability? Like, so, you're saying you got paid, they're paying, right? So you have money to do these type of things, which hopefully then propels you to be able to do more because now you got some stuff under your belt. Can you talk a little bit about what's next and the kind of business side of how you're making the money and sustaining this career, this creative life that you have?
Yeah, what's next? Well, first of all, working, I never had a budget in my life, so ever. I was doing plays at the time, and so I did a short film a while ago, but it literally, we won't talk about that. But before I did this with Kiki,
a little traumatizing.
Yeah, we won't talk about it. But before that, I was doing plays, like I said, and so those productions kind of paid for themselves, right? So you kind of put up the money in the forefront, like, building the set, getting everything together, renting the space, but then you sell tickets. And then eventually when you fill the seats, it kind of evens out. But I never really had a budget. It kind of was just like, okay, whatever you put forth, you'll get back. And that was it. There was no like surplus. I never paid myself. So being able to actually have someone say, we're going to give you X amount of dollars to do this, and then you'll be able to hire an entire crew and like have actors and have locations. It was a bit of, it was nice. Like, it was good to be able to say, and then not having to worry about like any of the financial burden of that, but then also the pressure that comes with it, because when someone's giving you that type of investment, it's like, you have to take care of it. You have to kind of, you don't really have all the creative freedoms that you normally would if you were just doing it yourself. So I wanted to say that first. As far as what's coming next, I'm just writing. And so I think building relationships, this obviously has helped me build a relationship with someone like a Kiki Palmer, getting eyeballs on my work. And so basically right now I'm going to be honest, I'm in the stage where I'm just trying to hone in and write more things and become a better writer. And then basically having the access to like a Kiki Palmer to give her another script. And so just kind of trying to move forward from there. But it's a great stepping stone for sure. It's my first series. And so I want to do a feature eventually. And so I've been working on that, just writing it out. I want to do more web series. I would like to do a complete series where like each episode is 30 minutes. And just kind of just keep developing things from that.
I love that. For you, it's unusual because you're a writer, but you didn't kind of go the industry standard. God worked it out for you in a special way.
Yeah.
But do you look for getting into like industry standard type of writing life, like where they get an agent, where they, do those competitions or do film festivals, or is it screenwriting film festival competitions that are out there? Tony's a writer, so Tony.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of those things. There's like a lot of film festivals have both, like, submit your film, submit your screenplay. Austin Film Festival is very much a screenwriters film festival that they do a lot of emphasis on, like they'll award the top script, and sometimes people will actually get representation from those kind of spaces. So yeah, they're definitely out there.
Okay. Do you have any desire to do that, or are you gonna continue to let God kind of just open up the doors? Just because I know there's people out there listening to it where it does feel impossible. Their whole goal is like, if I just get an agent, I know I'll get on. And sometimes people's hearts are broken because maybe that's not the path, or maybe there's an alternative route that they just don't know of. And so you're of the alternative route. what is on your mind and your heart for how you move your career forward as a writer?
It's so funny that you say that because I literally was just talking about this. I have literally tried every avenue of like doing things my way, like as far as even just auditioning for things. And there's nothing against it. Like I'm totally for it. Like auditioning for things. I like like you just said, if I were to do this, like I'm sure I could do this. Right now I'm in a position where I'm just like you said, I'm creating my own lane, and I'm literally allowing God to just kind of open the door and do like this. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't been on social media in 6 months, and the fact that you guys were able to even reach me, like I don't know if you tried to DM me or anything like that. Like first, I didn't respond because I'm not on social media. But like this fell right into my lap, and so I just feel like even with you, Tony, like this is an opportunity for me to network with you and to learn from you. So this is just I'm literally just whatever's out there for me, I believe will come to me. Whatever is for you will come to you. So yeah, but I do. There's one thing that is on my horizon that I would like to get into. There's ABC has a writing program, I believe it is. And I actually work for Disney, and so I would love to like submit something to that to get into that program. I have a friend who actually did it, and he was able to get in the program, and then from there he was able to like write on Grownish. So like once you graduate from the program, I believe, I don't want to misspeak, but once you graduate from the program, I believe they place you on a show to write an episode, to write an episode. So I would love for that to happen. I would love to get into that program. So I'm just writing, trying to turn out scripts as much as I can.
Great.
And then hoping and praying that something will come from it.
Yeah, good. Okay, so I want to, networking and building this connection. I started this podcast for that very reason, to be able to meet people, right? Because I can say I have a podcast and you can come on it and we can chat. And then, maybe we start something instantly, or maybe next year we see each other at a film festival, or when we're, out and about, we connect. And then it's like, 3 or 4 years later, I'm like, remember we started this connection on a podcast. So that's really part of the intention, is like building your own way, building your own house, instead of knocking on everyone else's door to try to get in there. It's like, oh no, I'll just build something and go, this is what I have. I'm making my own lane, like you did. I think it's really, really smart to do that, because the industry is constantly changing. Nobody knows anything, right? Nobody knows what is happening. There's so much anxiety right now. Everyone's like feeling like threatened and scared, and there's probably good reason to do it, but there's also like, okay, but what can we control? We can control only this and us and what we have and the skills and abilities that we have been designed to do. And I really believe too, like we're designed, we have purpose, divine spiritual purpose, and storytelling is so powerful in that, I mean, so I want to hear some best practices or some brutal, honest truths. Okay. As I'm coming to the end of this year and going into 2025, I like to be warm and friendly. I mean, that's just something I want to be known for kindness and to be a good person. But being a good person doesn't mean you don't have to tell people hard truths sometimes. I really feel like in this business, in this industry, I mean, I just had to have a conversation with someone, and it was graceful, but I was like, you need to take some more classes for acting if you want to be in front of the camera, because it takes skills and abilities. You can't just show up. Some people are submitting. I'm casting for a feature film right now, and I'm getting submissions, and I'm like, this person doesn't have a professional headshot. And I've been saying this for years upon years. If you want to be an actor, you cannot give me a selfie. You can't. It's just not cut it, right? So brutal truths is what I want to hear from you, Chris. What are some brutal truths that you've learned about yourself, or that you would say to other people that they need to hear if they want to really take this business seriously in this career?
One brutal truth for myself that I realized even while filming Big Girl Blues, it's okay to stand up for yourself, especially as a writer. Like I think, and maybe Tony, you can help me with this, but like my idea going into this, I didn't want it, like I felt like this is my show. Like at the end of the day, I saw myself as more of a showrunner as versus just like a person who is just writing an episode like on Grownish, or like just writing an episode for a particular series of a larger, you know what I mean? And so one of the things that I've learned, and that I would tell everybody out there about yourself, is to literally advocate for yourself on set. Like at the end of the day, if something, like obviously there's a director, and I feel like as a writer you work very closely with the director, And he ultimately he is the one in charge, but also like advocate for yourself, because if the script is going in a direction that you didn't want it to go in, especially like in my particular case, like if it's going in a direction that you didn't want it to go in, I feel like you have the right to say like, hey, this is not what I intended when I wrote it. Now again, that's for my type of situation where I saw myself as more of a showrunner, not like a writer on a particular like Grey's Anatomy who's writing one episode. Like Shonda is literally the boss, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like in my instance, like definitely, like if you are the writer and you are, if you want to be the showrunner, like you have that power. So and I think that, is that correct? I don't want to say the wrong thing, but like, Tony, maybe you can help. I think that is,
well, I mean,
that's
yeah,
okay,
I think that's your brutal truth. And yes, I think I hear you saying advocate for yourself. And I tell myself something very similar, like in my gut, when I'm on set, if I feel like something isn't right, or the take is not what I want, or I'm being rushed by anybody to move on and I don't have what I need to vocalize that, because I tell I use this language. I tell my future self that I don't want my future self to be angry at my past self for not speaking up. So I want to be in the edit bay and I want to be in post going, I'm so glad I spoke up because I got what I wanted. Because I can't blame anybody else but me. I could say, well, they rushed me. No, speak up. And I tell actors the same thing. If we're moving on and you feel like something isn't right, just speak up. Yeah. I might have to tell you no because we don't have time, or we lost light and it won't match or whatever. But just say it, because you'll always regret it, I feel like, if you don't speak up, right?
So many examples of that on this show. Like we're sitting in the editing room and we're like, we should have done XYZ, and it's like, I tried to tell y'all that, but like nobody wanted to hear it. Like I said it one time, I should have been like, no, we need to get this.
That's good.
But and so it's like so many examples of that. It's like, well, we should have did this, and it's like, well, I kind of was there, but that's my fault too, because I didn't like make it like we had to do it. So
I like that, Chris. I could get like really geeked out about this kind of thing, but trying to set the culture on set too, even before you start rolling cameras, is hard because everything is so rushed and we're all so stressed. But just trying to like calculate, okay, y'all, I need you to hear this from my mouth, the writer, director, producer. Like, if you notice anything, if there's something that's not safe, let alone creatively disingenuous, or God forbid, continuity. I've had people say things like in post, like, yeah, I saw that, but I didn't want to interrupt, because I'm like, no, you don't get to say that. You don't get to say that because I gave you permission to say anything. And we have to protect the story, right? So that's really important while we're on set, is to go like, your gut is never going to betray you. If you have a suspicion that this isn't working, or we need to try again, or, we're going off the script in such a way that's going to be detrimental to the story, speak the heck up. Yeah, that's great. That's a brutal, honest truth. I like that. Priscilla, would you say anything as an actor, things that you've learned, or working with directors, or dealing with conflict, a brutal, honest truth that someone needs to hear?
Let me think for a moment.
But while you're thinking, Chris, maybe this too, the phrase "you're not ready" we often use as a joke. You're not ready for this, and then we tell a story, right? But I think there are times when people need to hear you're not ready to move into what is supposed to be yours. Like, you have to be preparing yourself and being open. And people of faith, we can say things like, God has things for us, but sometimes we don't get them because we are not doing the work to get them. We're not thinking right enough. I even think sometimes we know we can be our own worst enemy, but if we're not changing the way we think about our value, or changing the way we think about how to ask for money or advocate for ourselves, we're not going to get those things. We're not ready for it. If I don't believe that I should be directing a feature film or show running, if I'm downing myself, then why are those things aren't going to come, and I'm not going to receive them. I'm going to be closed off to them. So telling someone, hey, you're not ready, if you're not thinking about this audition and putting the time and effort into it more than a half an hour before you send in the self-tape, you're not ready. Those are brutal truths.
I had someone actually tell me that, and his name is Chaz. He was helping me basically get ready for a lot of stuff. And so I wrote a script, and I was having him kind of edit it for me and kind of help me out with it. And so he was like, this is really great, but like when you get in the door with with the production companies, and like, these people, they're going to read this and they're going to say, well, what else do you have?
Yep.
And it's like, well,
Yeah,
I
good
don't have
point.
anything else right now. So it's
Yeah.
like, you know, you want to get these opportunities and things like that. And that's one thing I admire about Tyler Perry is that I don't necessarily like all of his things, but he writes.
And he makes it stuff.
He's writing. Like the fact that he has like 10 shows on BET and they're all on at the same time is like he's turning out scripts. I need to get like that. You know, maybe not as much, but like, 'cause I want.
Why not? Why not? And does Tyler Perry have a lot of haters? Does he have a lot of? Hell yeah. But is he a millionaire? Maybe a bill. Yes.
Maybe a billionaire, but his work ethic. No one, whether you like his movies, his content, any of that. The fact that he's turning out scripts left and right is so. It's like he's ready. So if a production company doesn't like his one movie, I got 10 more.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
yes, I would say my brutal honest truth from the producer side of me that I had to learn to myself is that I had to work on my communication. I had to learn how to slow down and walk through each item and make sure that the person I'm talking to understands and is able to say it back to me. That's like that probably was the hardest struggle for me on my last film that I produced, which was my biggest budget. You have to spell out everything.
Yeah.
You have to, even if they're your homie.
Yep, that's right.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
That's the honest truth. And I had to work on it. I'm still working on that. But that is my honest truth. Like as a producer, as someone that is leading the chorale, or even if you're in the background, but you still have a leadership type of role, you got to be able to communicate, spell things out to detail as much as you can. And if things get dropped, you learn, right? And to spell it out even more for the next round, which but that's one of those ones.
Ooh, Priscilla and I were just chatting about this yesterday too, with the over communication of our friends and collaborators in writing as well as verbalizing. Hey, so you're my whatever. I mean, I hired a DP one time and I dropped the ball thinking that hiring the DP meant he was going to bring the camera. He showed up to set without a camera. And I was like, where's the camera? He's like, oh, well, I usually show up and there's a camera. I was like, oh, I was blown away. I could not believe this. We had to scramble. We got a camera package within an hour. I'm like, wow, I will never do that again. So now it's like, okay, I'm hiring a DP. What cameras are you bringing? How many lenses? How many lights? Let's get this in writing. Because the brutal honest truth is people assume way too many things. Yeah. And these human, gentle, friendly handshake kind of conversations can end up burning you, ruining a production, and ruining a friendship. And so even with my friends nowadays, I'm like, we're going to Sundance in a month, and I'm having all the people staying in our condo sign a waiver that they're not going to sue me if they slip on the ice. Never have done that before in the years we've gone in the past. But a friend of mine just said, Tony, you need to have that because someone, yes, they're all your friends. They could sue you. I'm like, dang, never thought about that. Okay. So now
sue you and you don't own the property.
Exactly. Well, all these things, it's a BraveMaker trip, right? They're staying. So all of that stuff. Yeah.
I did slip on my butt though. Last year, I was slipping and sliding, and I did fall. So.
Thanks for not suing me, Priscilla. I didn't think
it was your fault, but I was slipping and sliding in them snow boots. I was like,
but people can do stuff. You want to come to Sundance, Chris? Come on, let's talk.
That sounds really fun. I'm down.
We can see the details, but honestly, our films didn't get in, even though we wanted and we prayed. But it is like you're going to a work conference.
Yeah.
You're going to a work conference. I ran into my, fake husband, Jay Ellis, last year. Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
I was like, ah! He probably was like, this little girl right here.
He seems like he's nice though.
He was super kind. He made a whole video with Tony for me. It was nice. Super kind, but it's like a work conference. You really go out there, you get to network with people on all different levels. That's how we met Ken Whittingham, who is the director on Ava Elementary.
Nice.
And you get to meet people that are in the trenches like you and just trying to figure it out.
That's what it is. I feel like filmmaking is figuring it out.
Yeah.
Yep. I like these brutal, honest truth things so much. I'm like, we should do a whole series on like just because it just came to mind. People are losing jobs because, fill in the blank, because they're not responding quick enough by email, and people are losing jobs because they're emailing too much. They're too annoying. It's like this. You got to find a balance, right? People are losing jobs because they're not going out enough. They're not meeting enough people, and people are losing jobs because they're going out too much and they're not doing the work. It's an interesting, give and take. So I think that's a really good conversation for people to consider. We should start a whole segment, brutal, honest truths.
They're losing jobs because they don't have the right headshot.
That's right.
That's true.
That's so true. So true. Or their headshot's too old. And they're showing up. I'm like, this is black and white from 15 years ago. We don't do black and whites anymore. Okay, good. This is really good, Chris. I'm loving this conversation. Is there anything else you want to talk about for 2025? Things that goals you have or projects you got coming down the pike you want people to watch out for?
Yeah, I have a friend, also like my partner, Johnny. He stays on me, but we want to try to do a film next year, a short film next year. So that's definitely on the horizon. Like I said, I want to try to get into that program, writing and trying to submit to be in the ABC program. And then I do need to get back to stage. So it's been since the pandemic. So 4 years since I've done a stage show. So I want to get back to doing stage shows. So hopefully maybe next December, I may have a show for you guys to come see.
Well, where would you like to be doing this show? Because we have some connections here in the Bay. Priscilla and I, we could co-produce with you or something. Come on, seriously.
My dream venue, obviously, big dream is Fox Theater, but that's my big dream.
In Oakland.
That's my big dream. Yes, that's my big dream. But then Walnut Creek has a theater. I cannot think of the name of it right now, but it's a theater. It's like in the area where all the restaurants are at. Are you familiar with that theater? Mm-mm. Okay, well, Walnut Creek has an amazing theater that I would love to have a show at. I'll send you the details. So,
anybody's out there who's got a connection to that theater? I have a connection to the Fox Theater in Redwood City, which is very similar to the Fox Theater in Oakland. It's very, very similar. So, So Ernie, who runs it, has been a great partner with BraveMakers. So we can definitely chat. And I have a very large community, obviously with BraveMaker, but I have a faith community that I'm a part of that I lead on Sundays in the Marin County area. So if there's any spaces over there, we could chat. I would love to, talk through that.
Let's see. This is like God, literally. Like I said, this fell in my lap. So I appreciate you guys for even having me on. I've been on a hiatus. I've been under a rock. So I just appreciate you guys for the opportunity. And so obviously this was destined. So I'm definitely going to take you up on that for sure.
Okay, well, we'll chat. Well, absolutely. We're not done. We're not done with the conversation. We do a favorite thing of the week. So get ready to tell us your favorite thing. People, place, or thing. Here we go.
Brave Faves. TV shows, films, books, songs, technology, clothing, podcast, food, and more. These are a few of our favorite people, places, and things. Brave Faves.
Favorite thing of the week is food. This is the second show of today. So I did a TV show earlier, and I'm going to do some food now. So it's holiday time. It's Christmas. I have been munching on these ridiculously good coffee caramel almonds from Trader Joe's. It's like crack. They're so dang good. They're like $3 at Trader Joe's. Caramel coffee almonds. I was popping them in the other day, like just pop. So darn good at Trader Joe's. I have never seen them before, so they might just be kind of like a holiday item, but that is definitely my favorite thing, my favorite food of the week. So what is your favorite thing of the week? Times two, Priscilla.
Oh, mine is I just watched it this week on Netflix called What Had Happened Was by Jamie Foxx. It's his first comedy special since he had his health scare. And I felt like he did a phenomenal job. He incorporated jokes of like what we've been saying on the internet and laughing with us. He was super vulnerable, shedding tears on the stage and introducing his daughter. And music has been a big part of his career. If like myself, if you've been following Jamie, since his show, since all that. He's always been on the keys. He's always been singing his booty off. And he did that in this special, and I loved it. And I also loved how he honored God in it. So there's just so many elements where I think he killed it, and it was just a good old time.
I love that.
I like it. I hear a lot of people talking on good stuff about this show too. That's great. All right, what about you, Chris? Favorite thing of the year or week? I mean,
A week. I have been obsessed. When I say obsessed with Wicked, but specifically, I'm a big fan of the musical, and then the movie was just great. But specifically, The Wizard and I. I've been listening to Cynthia a radio version of The Wizard and I all week, and I was just on TikTok, and somebody was saying, arguably, and this is arguably, that song is better than Defying Gravity, and I feel like it low key is. Just as my personal opinion. Like, obviously, I like Defying Gravity, but The Wizard and I, it just, I don't know if y'all have seen the movie. If you have not seen the movie, you got to see the movie, because it was the best 3 hours of my life.
Okay,
that's so great.
Out because I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it yet, Priscilla?
I love Cynthia. Her vocal ability is just, you get chills every time you hear her sing. So I'm gonna have to go check that out.
Are you familiar with the musical?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It'll be fun for you though. It'll be totally fun for you because it'll be fun for you.
I've seen the musical, so it had a different, and I really enjoyed it. But I always am curious when people watch it who have not seen the musical, who don't know the lore and all the Easter eggs. It's really fun to talk about.
It is. I just want to spoil the whole thing. Just wait till part 2. Just wait. Like, whew. Yeah.
Well, Chris,
I
thank
also got
you.
a sofa today too, so that's my favorite thing of the week.
Okay.
So I just got a sofa, so I'm hecka happy. It's like my dream couch, so that's also my favorite thing.
Right on. Kick your feet up with those books you don't read and enjoy a holiday season.
Right.
Really great to hang on for a minute. Thank you again, everybody, for listening, for being a part of BraveMaker for 275 episodes. This is our last show of 2024. So if you're watching live, thank you. There was a number of you who were jumping on. Keep following, like, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Make some comments and follow our guest, Chris Cobbs, who is at Cobbs on Instagram, which COBBLESS. There you go. Cobbs.
It's Cobbs. COBBIESS.
Oh my gosh. I thought it was Cobless.
No.
I thought that was funny. Like, God bless, Cobless.
That's actually kind of cool. Yeah.
Okay, so it's Cobbs with an I. Okay, my bad. It is in the Instagram post the right way. I just saw it wrong. I do wear glasses, y'all. But thank you, Chris Cobbs, for being on the show. This is what we do. We want to make connections. And do not think you cannot make relationships on the internet, healthy ones. We want you to follow and comment and get to know people because, Chris might be with us in some way, or we might be with Chris in some way. You might be on his set. He might be on our set. We want to build these relationships. So keep going. Again, thank you to our team, the BraveMaker podcast team is Alessia Petronkova, who does all of our promotions and social media and creates the links for our guests, and Amy Cohen, who's been live quoting for years on the show. We're so grateful. And then Barnell Amos, who is our audio editor, puts this into your ears on all the podcast places. So whether you're watching live on the replay or listening, thank you so much for being a part of this. Hey, can I ask this? As we end 2024, we have 55 people who give donations every month to BraveMaker to help us pay for our streaming services, pay for our rent and insurance and legal fees. So nobody does sue us if they fall at Sundance. All of the donations are tax deductible. You can use your phone. Just text the word BraveMaker to 44321, and you can get a donation link right to your phone, or go to bravemaker.com/donate. And year 7 of our film festival is July 10th through the 13th. We cannot do it without the support, because corporate donations, regional grants, government resources continue to dwindle, but it's the artists who believe in our work that are going to continue to help us do what we do. And finally, First Thursdays start January 2nd, 2025. First Thursday of every month is going to be a meetup. We're going to have mixing, eating, drinking, and being merry in Redwood City. And then we'll take an hour to have some kind of showcase, a table read, a monologue. People could sing. We're going to do really cool creative things in 2025. And we're very, very excited to do that. So thank you, everybody, for watching and for listening. And Chris, anything else you want to say, where you want people to find you, watch your show, Big Girl Blues?
Yes, please go to YouTube right now and go to Key TV's the Key TV Network YouTube channel and watch all of her content, but specifically watch Big Girl Blues on YouTube. And thank you guys again for having me. I really appreciate it, the opportunity just to come and talk to you guys and to network. I definitely will be tapping in with the both of you, so I thank you so much.
Great energy about you, man. Thank you so much for what you're doing for your time, and we appreciate you. And don't go away. But everybody else, brave stories change the world.
And you are the story.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at BraveMaker.org. Like, subscribe, and share. To become a monthly donor, text the word BraveMaker to 44321 or go to bravemaker.com/donate. Thanks for tuning in.